Brian Baldinger, former NFL offensive lineman, breaks down the Browns' first touchdown and what three rookies did on that one.
I don't think I've ever seen what the Cleveland Browns are doing on their opening touchdown. Aiden Huntington, undrafted. Harold Fannin, drafted tight end. Raheim Sanders, picked up off the waiver wire as an undrafted free agent. And they end up providing all the fireworks for the Browns' opening touchdown season. Excellent block right here by Fannin and Huntington. And Sanders, on 4th and 1, finds the goal line to tie up the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Flacco approves of it. 3 rookies in the backfield to get that touchdown. That's pretty cool stuff. That's using your whole roster.
The other thing about it, Jeff, this team needed an influx of young talent. And it, again, I know it's only one game. Let's not, in Bill Parcells' line, let's not give them the gold jackets. But it looks like they got some guys that can play.
And, that's kind of the thing here. And again, you had no first and second round picks forever. So, and they did pretty good with the amount of picks they had, even though they weren't high. Cedric Tillman, DeJuan Jones, Isaiah McGuire, all starting in paramount positions for this team right now. But the kids, you can't take your eyes off of it. And you keep in mind, that was a 4th down rep. So on 4th down in week 1, in a crucial situation, they were basically saying our confidence is, in an undrafted defensive tackle to get this block, Harold Fannin to get this block, and the guy that's only been here for 10 days, to find enough daylight to launch himself over the goal line, even though a play earlier, if he had just followed Joe Bitonio, he probably would have gotten the touchdown on that play. And the thing, when we just go back real quick, because, talking about Fannin, you see the physicality there. You saw the physicality later when he turned up the sidelines and dropped, Bengals, linebacker Logan Wilson's been a really good player for them. He put his shoulder in and he put Logan Wilson on Dream Street for a couple of seconds. So you see the overall impact of a guy like Fannin. And, I think the Browns might have did a pretty good job this summer, kind of hiding Sampson and Fannin and maybe, giddying like schoolgirls behind closed doors. But once it became, the regular season, obviously they unleashed what they thought was going to be a huge, huge part of this offense here in 2025. And, the kids just showed extremely well.
Sanders is a guy, I know he's probably going to get reduced workload, might even get shoved to the practice squad with Judkins coming back. I'm intrigued by him. They didn't give him a lot, but he does have a burst. He has an athletic profile that would lead you to believe he could be that guy that gets 4 or 5 yards a carry.
Well, what I see is, and, we know, Dave, I know, what do Cleveland Browns fans love? They love fullbacks. And you look at him, and he kind of looks like he could be an athletic fullback. And you go back to even earlier on that first drive. It was 4th and 1. And, they kind of lined Sanders up as a fullback, handed it to him on what was basically almost like a fullback trap, got the first down. I don't know necessarily that they have to move him off of the 53-man roster. There's a possibility they could keep him. But, I mean, if he's already can show that he can do a couple of different things and he can find a way to maybe show up on the kickoff team, maybe there's another move that could be made that you don't necessarily have to move off of him because, being able to do multiple things, play some fullback, be the bigger back. And look, the Browns had confidence in him within a week to kind of use him already in short yardage situations. Sometimes the subtle moves kind of tell you bigger news, that are, a team thinks of a guy. And I would have to think for the guy only being here basically a week and a day to kind of have a little bit of a prominent role in week 1. The Browns were extremely excited with what they saw with him from right away.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did want to see more of him. I wanted to see him get the ball in some non-goal line situations. Again, we'll see how that plays out.